It is the single biggest thing that will change the industry.
I would imagine over the next couple of years, it'll be a lot more frequent and we'll see it more.
That really doesn't lend itself to employee engagement at all. It actually leads itself to employee disengagement.
If you look back 35 years ago when I joined the industry, an operator that was running a motor grader to cut blue tops to grade, they were in their 60s, and so the skill set just took decades to build up for that competency. Along came the machine grade control, which gave younger, less experienced operators in some cases the ability to do the same job, which put more people in the seats. But now we have fewer people altogether. So you'll see more and more job sites running with control panels where one operator can run a repetitive motion on 2 or 3 pieces of equipment. And it solves 2 things. It handles the automation of equipment where an operator can handle more than 1 piece of equipment. It also takes people out of harm's way.
Automated equipment will eventually lead to higher quality construction, higher standards, faster deliveries, on-time project deliveries, and an all-around value for all stakeholders involved, from the field worker all the way to the owner and the society at large.
There was a recent survey that said that over 90% of contractors face some sort of issue when it comes down to payment. And whether that's receiving money or sending notifications that money is owed, and it has to do with the lack of automation in that side of the construction industry.
Slow payments and the process of actually deriving a payment is one of the biggest problems that a contractor has. And the problem is really create downstream problems. And so the biggest downstream problems are that is, so if you are a contractor who has to coordinate with, say, a Department of Transportation for a payment, you're doing the work, you're incurring the work, you're waiting until a particular point in which quantities are measured. Say it's the end of the month, and then you're submitting a bill for payment, and then yet that bill is getting paid net 30, net 45, net 60. And so the grand scheme of things is the work is done, and it may be 2 months later, 3 months later that a payment's actually made to the contractor. And so what that means is the contractor is going to have cash flow to early pay subcontractors, material suppliers, their employees, their fuel providers, all of the things, the costs that they incur on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis that they aren't getting reimbursed for by their customers. And so the net effect of that is prices are higher, because the costs of dealing with that capital has to be higher in there. And so if I were an owner's rep, if I worked for a Department of Transportation, one of the technologies I would be most excited about is digital payments and automatic payments, because the more you can do to compress that time schedule, pay that contractor early, the better you can actually lower the cost to yourself, and attract better subcontractors, better material suppliers that are going to be safer on your project and work in that in your project. So it is probably, of all the things that I expect to see in the future, it is the single biggest thing that will change the industry from my standpoint.
So picture this, your foreman's in the field. He knows exactly what he needs on his job site for tomorrow. He's gonna fill out a bunch of paperwork, or he's gonna do some online things. He's gonna send that to the supervisor. Let's say the supervisor looks at it, she knows exactly what the person was. They were already in sync. They talked about this in 5 meetings in advance, but still gonna take the steps to approve paperwork or wait for it to come in, approve that, then get the material order out. Now we're talking about like 10, 15 steps. Once we get everybody in the office involved, we're calling the material plant, or we're calling the ready mix plant, wherever we're going with that. Now imagine the new scenario where my foreman looks at what they need. We already have an estimate of what we were supposed to use because we estimated that months ago, so I already know how much material I'm probably gonna need. Foreman tweaks it, hits a button, that fires out to a supervisor who looks at it and says, hey, I already know about this. They approve it. It goes right to the material plant. The plant then aligns it, sets the truck, sets the delivery, shoots back to the foreman, hey, you can count on this truck at this time tomorrow. The foreman is already now working in tomorrow and where his productivity is gonna be tomorrow rather than trying to get paperwork done for today.
There have been multiple companies formed over the last couple of years that their goal is to be able to manufacture their own material and then go and install that material. It has been more in the residential construction space, whether it has to do with housing or multi-complex apartment units, but it's starting to become more and more common in our space that companies are creating their own material and then going out and installing that exact same material. And I would imagine over the next couple of years, it'll be a lot more frequent and we'll see it more.
One of the biggest problems that we see with the field and how our contractors work with the field is engagement and then retention. So when you're really good as an operator, you can operate a crane for almost anybody. So now it's a skill that is widely sought after. So if you want to engage the field people, you got to give them a better reason to stay in your company than just their pay rate. Because if you're a union shop, their pay rate's the same with everybody else. So in that thought, you have to be more than just a contractor who puts a pipe in the ground or lays asphalt in the road. You have to be a business. You have to be a company with a culture, with people who care about you. They can't come to work for the money, they have to come to work for you. A great avenue for them to take in engaging the field is to treat them like people, not just operators or laborers. Or you need to know what these people are doing in their life as much as what they're doing on their jobs.
We need to be giving our guys tools that they need to be engaged in their work. When it's so funny, so many customers call me, or people that leave one company and go to another, they call me, and one of the main reasons they give is they're having to do manual work. They're manually estimating, they're manually filling out Excel sheets or paper sheets or paper forms. And that really doesn't lend itself to employee engagement at all. It actually leads itself to employee disengagement. So giving our guys tools and the technology to take away those manual tasks, make their data entry jobs essentially easier, and give them more time doing the things that they're great at and that they want to do, building, making more money for the company, etc. Those are all real keys to employee engagement.
If you look at the EU countries, you see different environmental requirements that are being put into practice than what we see here in the States. And I think we're gonna see more and more and more of those trickle in. We're already seeing a handful of those practices being required. And I think the impact to the industry is going to be more dramatic than we think. And the reason I say that is because anytime we're being asked by an owner to do something different, it opens up an opportunity for somebody to out-innovate somebody else.
I also think the construction industry doesn't get enough credit for the amount of focus they've put on saving the environment or being a part of environmental replacement after a job's complete. I know many jobs that I've been around, there's a 10% retainage in the job until the grass grows back under where the pipeline is or where these things are. So there is some things that we've done as an industry to enhance and improve the environment. I've also seen jobs where we've helped riverbeds run cleaner or provide sanctuary for salmon as they're going upstream. These are things that maybe we don't get credit for, and if there was more information out there about that, or people knew these things, they'd be more open to learning what the environmental impact plan is and making sure that it's minimized in that plan. So I think there's a communication issue, and I think if we were to get better at the communication, maybe some of the other issues would go away. I think the future of construction is bright. I think that if you have children who are in high school going towards college and you were to coach them towards a career in the construction industry, you would be doing them a huge favor. It's an industry that not a lot of people are chasing into, so there's room for career growth. There's rapid career growth opportunities. When I talk to people who are in the industry and what their children, they're coaching their children towards it. They're going towards construction because construction has everything in the world to offer. And the days of, oh, I'm in marketing, there's no place for me in construction, that's gone. There's a huge marketing component to the construction industry. There's a labor force, labor craft. If you're not going to college and you want to go to trade school, you can go to crane school, learn how to operate a crane, learn how to operate a dozer. These are premium wage positions. You're supporting your family, you're living a great life. If you want overtime, there's always overtime. This is a great industry to be in. I would definitely challenge people to look into it and find out what's in it for them.
If I were sitting in the role of a contractor right now, I would be thinking to myself, who can I partner with to be my technology partner? And I know it sounds a little bit like a leading statement because I'm a technology person here at a technology company. But the reality is you have to have a technology partner. The contractors of the future have to arm themselves with the right people to come alongside them. And so how would I pick a technology partner? Well, I would pick a technology partner that could help me in multiple aspects of my business and really is focused on growing my entire business, not just a sliver of my business. Because ultimately, if I have to deal with 15 or 20 different technology companies, that's not a sustainable model for me. If I could whittle that down to 3 or 4, that becomes a sustainable model. I would be looking at who could I bring in that could be that technology company and that technology person to come alongside me and help me going forward.